Grace reflects on a devastating revelation at a tender age.
My uncle told me when my mom, she was very young when she got pregnant with me. She tried to abort me twice, but I guess through God's grace I survived.
A difficult marriage that saw her attempt suicide, only for her kids to die.
We went down a river, I can call it a river. We jumped in with my sons. Lucky enough, someone saved me, but he could not save my sons. By the time help was coming, my sons were already dead.
Plus the reality of going back to her native home and living with abusive parents.
My dad told me, you know, I always beat you and you run away and then you come back. You know, I can beat you again and you'll take me nowhere. So I kept quiet. I just looked at him. He told me, why are you looking at me? I said, I can't imagine that you are so proud of hitting me. My mom came and she said, yeah, I have allowed him because you don't listen.
Grace's story is a heartfelt one. It is a story that saw us make the trip to Githioro, Kiambu County. At Joy Victor's Faith Church, we meet Grace as she reflects on a difficult upbringing and how that impacted her life.
I was born in Nairobi, Pumwani Hospital, on 29th October 1980. My mom, by then, she was so young, she was still living with my grandmother in Donholm. My uncle told me when my mom, she was very young when she got pregnant with me. She tried to abort me twice, but I guess through God's grace I survived. And when my grandmother knew what she was trying to do, she tried to be there 24/7, to be with my mom 24/7 to avoid it happening again. My mom, after she gave birth to me, my grandmother got her a job. So mostly it's my grandmother and my uncle Caris, okay, both of them have died now, who took care of me.
As Grace was growing up, she had the opportunity to pursue an education.
I lived with my grandmother till I was like 5 years. Then my mom came for me. So my stepfather at that time, he was working as a soldier at Air Force. So we were living in Isili. I remember we were Isili Air Base or something. So unfortunately he resigned after the coup. There was a lot of, most soldiers were imprisoned, others. So my dad opted to quit. So that's why we came to Kiambu County, Mushenga village. It's up here. First nursery, I was at my Forces Academy in Isili. Then I came here, I began my standard 1, standard 2 and 3. I was here for 3 years, Githioro Primary. Then my dad got a job in Nairobi, Harambee House. So we moved to Nairobi. We lived at Zimmerman Estate. I can say my dad really loved me. I can't say that he was cruel those early years. In 1994, when I was doing my KCPE, he made a point of coming because he recognized me as his firstborn. So he was there for the 3 days I did my KCPE, then he went back.
As she looked to pursuing higher education, the reality of facing rejection at a tender age dawned on her.
I was good in the arts, not very good in sciences. So I never got, my dream from a child, I wanted to be a lawyer. I loved politics and stuff. So my dad did all he can and I joined, because I didn't perform very well, I got a seaplane, but he heard of Kenya, it was called Kenya School of Professional Studies at Parklands. I was admitted there. I did my diploma for 2 years and I got upper credit. I performed very well. Even I was admitted to Moi University parallel program. But in between that time, okay, me, I noticed my mom used to abuse me a lot when I was a baby and beat me and tell me I have a big head. So I developed low self-esteem since when I was a child. So during that time, as I was traveling, you know, when you have low self-esteem, you think you're not worth. So I befriended a guy who was a driver, a matatu driver. And I got a child, my firstborn child, he was called Tevin, in June 11th, 2003. That time we had moved to Juja. My parents had bought a plot, so we were living there. Then I had ran away from home because I knew my mom would be angry in my condition. So fortunately they found me. I gave birth at Thika level 4. But Tony's sister, I guess she knew my parents. She went to them and told them, like, Tony is not a very good man. He's just using me. So my parents came for me. And I went back home. By that time I was treated well. My father was happy because now I named the child after him.
Now a mother, Grace was keen on finding job opportunities and at the time got the chance to travel to Sweden for work.
I moved to Sweden in 2004. And I regret making that decision because I left Tevin when he was 9 months. He was just 9 months. He was still breastfeeding. It really affected me, but I thought I'm going to make his future better. So I went there. In Sweden, I met, when you go there, most people you have to befriend a white man so that you can get papers. Yeah, so I got engaged to that white man, but I went through so much with him. He used to throw me out. Like if I refuse to have sex with him. When I was 8 months pregnant, he threw me out. You know me, I give birth to big babies because Elias, so I don't add weight, so I was huge. So I couldn't do anything. So he threw me out, and it was winter season. I really froze outside. Then I remembered my friend, he's Kenyan, he owned a taxi. I called him and told him, I think I'm dying. Come for me. And he came and took me to his place. Fortunately, I was okay and the baby was okay. The next day I went to, he advised me to go to a refugee camp because at 8 months pregnant, I cannot be, they cannot name me on a plane and come back home because I didn't have papers. And that is true. So I went and lived in a refugee camp till I gave birth to my second son. His name was Elias.
That pregnancy period saw her endure so much, but after giving birth, she got the chance to reconnect with the son she left in Kenya under her mom's care.
I used to send like 3/4 of my salary back home because my mom used to claim she's taking care of my son and stuff. But it's not like they were not able. But me, I think I was just trying to buy her love because I think she rejected me from the word go. What I've gone through with her, I think she rejected me from that when she tried to abort me. So she doesn't have that good connection with me. So I used to send her all the money. So when I stopped working, she became quite angry when I told her, now I have to stop working because I'm pregnant and stuff. I can't do the work I'm doing. Okay, so I gave birth. I got papers. And so since I had filled about my son, my mom brought him in 2008, around February. You see, he was now almost 6 years. No, he was 5. Yeah, he was 5 years. So he didn't know me. He didn't know me very well. So my mom also got a visa to come and stay for 3 months for the transition.
Things didn't work out between Grace and her mom during that stay. But as her mom traveled back to Kenya, Grace focused on moving forward with her life.
I began my life with my sons nicely. I got a job still at a hotel. I began as a cleaner, but they continued like... in Sweden, when they see you are doing a good job, they promote you. So finally, I worked as a housekeeper, head of housekeeping department. So in 2010, I decided to come and visit with my sons, and we came. Then my dad just commented, we were with my dad, just my stepdad commented, I think Sweden is good for you. You look good. My mom overheard that. So when I went to bed, my sister took my kids. She was living with my kids at that time. So I noticed when I went to the bedroom, my mom locked the bedroom from outside. Me, I didn't know. Waking up in the middle of the night, it's closed. I wondered why. Me nikaendelea tu kulala. Then early in the morning, she opened for me. I asked her, why would you close the door and I'm sleeping I was asleep there. She told me, this is not your biological dad. She's the first one with her mouth that told me. Okay, we used to suspect, but she was the first one who told me, this is not your biological father. And yesterday he said, you look good. He can rape you. You can imagine now the shock. So I was very confused.
That day, she left, going back to Sweden with her kids, and what followed was a devastating incident.
With all the stress, I think, and the stress I was going through with son's father, I think I never knew I was not okay. So I started locking myself in. I never wanted to meet people. Kumbe ni depression happening, I never knew. So it got to a point, my mom sent me a very bad text. She told me she wishes I die and my sons be taken by social. So it figured a point. I said, God, you don't love me. My mom doesn't love me. So that's when I had these suicidal thoughts. So we went down a river. I can call it a river. We jumped in with my sons. Lucky enough, someone saved me. But he could not save my sons. By the time help was coming, my sons were already dead. So first I was taken to court because now they saw that as murder, even if I had tried to drown me myself.
Upon arrival in court, a mental exam was ordered, and this saw Grace diagnosed with bipolar.
They didn't put me in prison. I was taken straight to the psychiatric hospital. It was called Hooding. That's when they discovered I have bipolar. It's a form of depression, schizophrenia, because I used to hear voices also. So I was in that hospital for over 2 years. I didn't even go for my son's burial because they said it was too much for me at that time. And my parents came for the burial and my sister, and they came to visit me. My sister was really moved and she cried so much. She said, this is not my sister, there is something wrong with her. So I was there for 2 years, but because I only had a resident permit, I didn't have citizenship, so I was brought back home in 2012, late 2012. It was not easy living with my mom. She used to tell me I'm a murderer.
Those words troubled Grace for a long time, and as she was seeking for a place to belong, God gave her the chance to be a parent again.
I got pregnant with Imani in around May. So he was there for me till when I was like 7 months pregnant. He started, I had rumors he's meaning with someone else, and it was true. So I called it quits with him. So I gave birth to Imani in November 2014. And my mom kept on saying that God won't allow me to give birth because I killed my sons. But who is God? I gave birth to, I called her Atara. Atara is Hebrew, it means God's blessing. She's called Atara Imani. In Kikuyu, the way we do, like, if you're not married, I refused to name after my mom because she had already predicted, like, God won't allow. So there's this culture on if a person rejects a kid like that, don't name her, because the child will eventually maybe die or have some problem. So I was at home nursing Imani, but by then I had 2 butcheries. In that, I met Baraka's father. My kids don't come from the same father. I met Baraka's father. Baraka's father were friends with my mom. So my mom had told him I have a lot of money. So he didn't come at it because of love. He was coming to con me, but I didn't know. I knew about it later.
With so many misfortunes coming her way, Grace was barely getting afloat until there was another issue to deal with.
the cash I had left, I tried to do this car hire business. But because I don't know anything about cars, the people I had employed, they took so much advantage. So I called my dad, my stepdad. I told him, I think I'll come back and live with you people so that I can know. By that time, I had given birth to Baraka. I came back to live with my parents. So they took, I had 2 cars for car hire. I sold them. Pakomoja I had bought with nilikuwa nimenunua na loan, so I cleared the loan. Some cash was left, like around 200,000. My parents at that time, they were building this home where we live. They were short of cash for the slab. You know, our house is 1-story building. Their house is 1-story building. So I gave them that money. I told her, it's okay, you can have it. And they promised that I can live with them and it will be stress-free. Way.
We are living in a lost and broken world, constantly bombarded by messages of hate and atrocities. But with God, we can overcome. Find hope and restoration on the go through life-changing shows on the Family Media app.
And then you will lose yourself and gain the world. And Jesus said, what good is it?
Get to stream Family TV and Family Radio 316 straight from your phone. Catch up on a show you missed or create video streaming playlists by saving and watching videos from our huge variety of shows at your own convenience. Download the Family Media app, available for all Android and iOS users on the Google Play Store and Apple Store respectively. Family Media, keeping Jesus on the airwaves.
What followed was a series of abuse as Grace was beaten by the stepfather.
Well, the first time he hit me, I went to it was 2020. We went to I ran away. We went to Gatundu with my kids because I had put in my mind, because they kept on saying like, she's the one who took care of my first child, blah blah blah. So I said, never again. I'll never leave my kids behind there with me. So we moved. We went to Gatundu police, and even I reported my dad there. Then from Gatundu we moved. We went to Kenyatta Road. It's near Gatundu. The lady, my kids told me they're hungry. It was like at night. There was a lady with a container who was selling chips. She asked me, and where are you going? And the curfew is almost 9. You can see you have 2 kids. Where are you going? Me, I just started crying. I told her, but I don't know where I'm going because my parents have beaten me. I don't feel like going back. At that time, I had my dad had hit me like this, so I had a black eye. Yeah, so she told me, I don't know you, but for the sake of the kids, you can sleep at my place. Then you'll know what to do.
After that incident, Grace and her children found refuge at a family shelter, but within no time, life was hard and she resorted to go back home.
I used to do everything in the house. My mom wakes up so late. My stepdad wakes up early. You know, it's not fair for me to tell him, wait for mom to come and serve you. So me, I serve him. Because anyway, I'm the one who does everything in the house. My mom will start abusing me. I'm a co-wife. You know, even me, I get irritated. I tell her, I'm your child. There's a time I wrote to her. I told her if I had sent it's like I sent an application to be born, and me didn't. It's God who decided that time. And if you knew you had insecurities, you could have left me at my grandma's. So 2021 again, they hit me again. I reported them here in this police station, Nyambura. But my dad had bribed those policemen. They never listened to me. I went to FIDA. FIDA tried to contact this police station, but you see, my dad had already bribed them. There's no way they could be on my side. You see the way they say, mnyonge hana chake.
It is at this point that Grace decided to look for her biological father.
We met and he promised me that he would take me and my kids. He would pay for their education and stuff. Now again, then he called my mom. When my mom realized, my mom, it was not like her wish. She never wanted me maybe to find my dad. So when the biological John called him, she told him, Nyambura is here, and she was in shock. She was like, how did she find you? He told her, the way you find me is the way she found me. The way you look for me is the way she looked for me and found me. So my mom was okay. Then again, after 2 days, she called him. She told him, during that time, I had she had many boyfriends. So don't be like 100% sure Nyambura is your child. Oh? Hapo my dad geukad. Okay, that's John geukad. He was like, he didn't want anything to do with me.
Grace was now caught in a vicious cycle as she found herself asking to be taken back in by her parents.
My dad told me, I always beat you and you run away and then you come back. I can beat you again and you'll take me nowhere. So I kept quiet. I just looked at him. He told me, why are you looking at me? I said, I can't imagine that you are so proud of hitting me. My mom came and she said, yeah, I have allowed him because you don't listen. We went even to sleep without even eating with my kids. On Sunday, they went to church. Kawami, I didn't go. Then on Monday, after I prepared the kids to go to school, again, my mom brought some other drama at night. She told me, you think even God forgave you because of your children. I told her, Mom, I told you, me, I'm healed. You have to move on. And God gave me other kids. If it was not for God, I would not have. No. They started. My dad entered. They started abusing me. I was like, hey, me, you won't abuse me again. I went and slept. So the next day, it was on 30th, I remember, September. In the morning, when I was preparing my kids, I told them, because even them, they had me being abused. Mpaka my son told me, why does Shosho hate you so much? I told them, I don't know. And the way you do everything here, they've made you a slave. You see, even kids, they can notice. I told them, I keep on telling you to pray. God will help us out of this one day.
Grace has since left her home and her parents remain with her children. Her desire is to find a job and a way to support her kids out of that terrible environment.
I cannot be moving from house to house with them. So even me right now, I'm trying to look for a job. I've gone to places near, how the main in here is dairy farming. I've gone to 2 companies and I've left my papers there. I'm just praying for God to give me a way. I take my kids out of there because I can't imagine us being there for, they're closing a very long holiday, 2.5 months. I don't want them to grow in a place where there's abuse. And then my sister has joined this. It's like now that my family is against me, everyone. Only my sister has joined this culture thing. She went and got herself circumcised. Now she wants to force me to do the same because she wants to trick the daughter. I told her, may I believe in God. This culture stuff, it's things that happened before and God told us. Because I read in Isaiah chapter 8, verse 16 to 20. God has advised, we don't consult the spirits of the dead. We just believe in His word. So, that is what I believe in.
As she has grown spiritually, Grace now fellowships at Joy Victor's Faith Church under the leadership of Pastor Joel Kagwe.
And when she came, I got her and I accepted her in the church, only to find that she was sick. I heard her story, and even now I can see that she told me that she has that problem of bipolar disorder, and she is going under medical, taking medicine. And therefore I know that I was handling someone who is sick. We prayed, I introduced her to the church, and we are joined together.
I like this church because they didn't judge me. Most people, after hearing my story, they keep on renewing the past. And for me to heal, we cannot move back. We have to move ahead. I have to think about Imani and Baraka. Yes, Devin, I still miss Devin and Elias, but I think I have healed and I believe they are angels in heaven now.
Pastor Joel has since taken time to engage Grace so as to have a complete understanding of how to encourage and support her.
Yeah, my daughter requires medical attention. She needs it. I have not gone so far to the route why they are not coming together with the parents. I don't know exactly. But I think if she get a job and be hosted, because she's learned, yeah, she would come to my computer and work it out. But, I think when she gets settled, healing will be very fast. Because I don't think the parent understand, yeah, what she's going through. In fact, she came and she lost the medicines. We had to send her to buy others and try to talk to her. And she went and buy. She's a good lady, yeah, she is obedient.
Grace was recently at a bad state, and Pastor Joel's effort to reach out to her parents were met with resistance.
I sent her to the hospital and I talked to the doctor who has been treating her. I called him and I told him that to tell the father that I'm with her daughter in the office and I would request that he comes and we take her to the hospital. He did not accept. I asked the doctor whether they can treat her with the absence of the parent. He did not accept. And I heard that when you are injected, you have to sleep for a long time. And the Grace asked me that should not get injected, but we can assist in the medicine. I gave her some small cash. She went there and buy and bought. And when she took it, she is okay. Therefore, I don't know how easy it would be to make her go back. Because the parent, since then, that is about 2 weeks' time, they have never called me, they have never talked to me. And Grace also does not want to go back there. When you are dealing with a sick person who refuses, I know you know. Yeah, you cannot talk to her, try to persuade, no, you can't.
Despite the overarching challenges, Grace aims to continue with her life with a renewed faith in God.
She actually said that she thought that God does not love her, but she has come to realize that God loves her so much. And we can point out, although the other children were dead, now God loved her and gave her other children. You see, that is a situation where we try to show love. Yeah, the main aim is to see that God loves her so much. And I accepted her as my member. Because I don't think there is many other churches where she can be accepted when she has nothing, when she has problems. How she was when she was coming is much different. You know, like now she can stand and say and share. Yeah, that is a victory. Yeah, earlier on she was talking so much, talking, and bitterness and crying. Yeah, I think when she came, she was very crying. She would cry and cry. But now, she is loving and not ashamed of sharing what she went through. I think that is a victory.
God loves us all. I will never again believe in what my mother used to tell me, that God doesn't love me. There's nothing like that. It's God. God is the one who chooses where you'll be born. And it's God who brought you into this world. So he has a purpose for each and every one of us. And the wicked shall fall, one way or another.
As to why it is important for her to share her story, Grace had this to say.
I would like to motivate people, because I've seen people they have lost their belief in God because of this. Like my brother now, he believes in alcohol and drugs, but he doesn't know there's a supreme being. God is the ultimate. He has the ultimate power of our lives, nobody else. And Jesus died for us, for our sins. Once we believe that, I think things will work out. But unless people believe there is a God in heaven and he hears and answers our prayers, will not move ahead. Especially this tribe of ours, Kikuyu. People have believed in money so much, and power, wealth and power, and greed for power and money. It's destroying us.
The Bible says in Ephesians chapter 5, verse 1 to 2, that therefore be imitators of God as beloved children, and walk in love as Christ loved us and gave himself up for us, a fragrant offering and sacrifice to God.
You cannot actually be able to love God whom you have never seen, and you are not loving your neighbor. It has spoken that in the Bible also. You remember the Samaritan, the Good Samaritan. I do actually add the church not only to take the people who have the money to contribute, but also to consider the weak. We show them love. When they get healed, I think when they go to heaven, we shall be rewarded. When the life of the desperate people is restored, I know God will also be very happy with us. Yeah, even now I'm praying for Grace to get restored. You know, she is a woman who had worked very hard, got a good education, got good courses, but in between the devil came. If you don't get them, who else will show them? I think we present Jesus here, and we should show love to our weak Christian families, yeah, so that they can come back. Me, I would be very happy when I see her healed.